It doesn't matter where you're from, whether it's the USA, Europe, Asia, or Australia, you cannot escape this avalanche. It has intruded into every corner of the globe. It's engulfed this planet and wreaked havoc upon men, women, and children alike. It has torn apart husbands, wives, mothers, and fathers from their precious children, and grandparents from their grandchildren. It's the curse of our time, the dreaded disease, cancer. And I know it has affected your life and your loved ones. And I guess you're not satisfied with the answers that you've been given. Maybe you can't shake the question, what if there is a better way? What if we do not have to suffer? What if people are tragically dying without having access to what truly works? What if there are more effective treatments and preventions that will make cancer a disease of the past? Welcome to The Truth About Cancer, a global quest. If these are questions you've been asking, you're about to see some things that will shock you. This is going to be an epic journey of a lifetime, traveling to the corners of the globe in search of the answers, the true cures for cancer. I'm going to introduce you to over 100 experts spread across the globe in over 20 countries who have stood up against the lies that have been perpetrated and are teaming together to give you the answers. These doctors, scientists, researchers, and cancer survivors are breaking their code of silence to reveal to you insights and solutions that you likely have never heard of, bringing you the reality that you do not have to fear cancer, and you can prevent and even beat it without harming your body. Get ready for a life-changing adventure where you come along with us to experience the beauty of foreign lands, the untold stories, and the brilliance of medical minds achieving developments in cancer treatments. We learned about the most advanced treatments and preventions of cancer from the world's best doctors, scientists, and researchers that presented documented evidence that cancer can, in fact, be beaten and prevented. There's no doubt that had we had access to a documentary with the information that's contained in the 9 days of the global quest, that we could have saved Dad's life. I have no doubt that we could have.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Nick Daugherty!
Thank you, guys. It's good to be here. Before I start, I know this is a marketing event, and I'm not supposed to talk about health. But could I just ask real quick for a show of hands, is there anybody in the room whose lives have been impacted by cancer? Your mom, your dad? Wow. Brother, sister? That's just about everybody in this room. So, okay. Would it be all right, could I just do this real quick? Would it be all right, would you guys like to have a copy of that documentary to watch for free as my guest? Would anybody like that? Okay. I will make sure that we get the link published to that so you guys can have that as my guest. Okay. I call this presentation Documentary Secrets, the fastest way that I think to build your mass movement in a really crowded market. And Devon just talked about it, right? This is from Wired Magazine, April 2016. We're all drowning in content. I mean, thank God for Russell. Thank God for ClickFunnels and Expert Secrets and Facebook Live and all the amazing tools we have, because it's really leveled the playing field for all of us. But like Devon just mentioned, today there's more funnels being built every single day than ever before in the history of mankind. And so, in a way, and I love that this graphic is red, because in a way, we're all in one big red ocean because we're all competing with each other for attention. So if you guys have ever felt like you're just a little voice in a noisy room with everybody else talking and they're talking louder than you and your message isn't cutting through, I just want you to know, I know how you feel. I've been there, trust me. And so today I want to talk about how you can make people stop whatever it is they're doing, put down their cell phone, close their laptop, and focus in on you and what you have to say. Would that be good? You guys want to know some tricks? You just got to make me a promise, okay? Can we make an agreement, you guys, real quick? We're going to get into some heavy psychology stuff here in just a minute, and I need you guys to promise me that you're only going to use these superpowers for good, okay? Because they are superpowers, and you can move people in a good direction or a not so good direction, all right? So I'm just going to caveat that and saying right up front. And I was backstage just now, so I didn't get to see the show of hands, but how many people have a dream or a vision or a calling in your heart that you feel is bestowed upon you, like you have a mission that you've got to fulfill here on this planet? Awesome. And how many people, if I could just ask, are actively working on that mission right now, today, every day, and that is your business? That's amazing. How many people are not? You say things like, I want to do big things, but first I just need to make some money first. That's okay. I'm not mad at you. It's all right. That was me. Okay. Life happened, and I'll tell you about my story in just a second. But I think it's a typical sort of life goals of the entrepreneur. You say, I want to be an entrepreneur so I can be my own boss, so I can make a lot of money. Why? So I can work when I want to, so that nobody tells me what to do, so I can afford the things that I never had as a kid, so I can spoil my kids and give them amazing adventures. Why? So that I can live an extraordinary life. Why? Ultimately, all of us at the end of it, after we've made a bunch of money, we've bought the car, we've bought the house, we've taken the vacations, we've drinking all the fancy wine we want to drink, it comes down to, I don't know, so I can give back. So I can give to people less fortunate, right? And what I want to say is, what if you didn't have to wait 30 years for that to happen? What if you didn't have to wait till you made a bunch of money? What if you could have both? What if you could make a huge impact and make a lot of money at the same time? Would that be good? So who am I? I'm a storyteller. I'm an artist. I didn't create the film, The Truth About Cancer. In fact, my life was on a totally different journey. 10 years ago, when Russell was making the potato gun, I was making a record. I lived in Los Angeles, and I had big dreams. I was going to be a rock star. And I knew that I needed to learn how to market myself and my music. So I got into marketing, and I started reading and studying everything I could. And I started a blog, and I called it Nick's Journey, how to get a record deal in 365 days. And watch me, baby, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to blog every day. I'm going to take my video camera around, and you guys can follow me along on my journey. And through that process, you know, it's like the secret, I guess. Like when you just declare that to the universe, amazing things start to happen. And through that process, I met some amazing people who took me under their wing, who helped me to hone my songwriting and hone my musicianship and my craft and all of that. And I'm eternally grateful for the things they taught me. But along the way, life happened. You see, this is Mandy. Mandy was my producer. She produced that record I just showed you right here. Her name's on the back next to mine. Mandy introduced me to my wife. But we lost Mandy to cancer. And that's John Berhaney, an amazing songwriting coach. We lost John to cancer. And so life took a turn for me. I was loving this marketing thing. And I built an agency around it, and we got some clients, and some big clients. I don't know if you know Jackie Collins. She was one of our clients. Jackie's one of the best-selling novelists that ever lived. She sold over 500 million books, right? Like most book writers are ecstatic to sell 10,000 copies of their book. When Russell launched Expert Secrets, he told you guys, I'm going to sell 1 million copies of the book. And it boggles my mind that Jackie sold 500 million copies of her book from the 60s and 70s and 80s. Anywho, I had a chance to run her marketing for the last 7 years of her life, and together we had 6 New York Times bestsellers. And I guess that's a cool feather in my cap to have been the guy who helped her do that as far as the marketing and all that goes. But in 2015, we lost Jackie to cancer. So I kept working, I stayed busy, and at this point I'm a cynical marketing dude. And I tell myself I've got to work hard, and I came home from the office one day and my wife said, honey, there's this documentary I want us to watch. And I said, cool, because we like documentaries. We like to watch Netflix and chill. But she said, we got to watch it tonight. And I said, why? She said, it's only on for tonight, and then it goes away. Okay, let's watch it. And in the documentary, you saw this guy's face. This is Ty, and I thought I had a sad story because I lost some close people to me. But Ty lost his father to cancer. But not only that, he lost his grandfather to cancer. He lost his uncle to cancer. He lost his grandmother and his mom to cancer. Literally, the entire generation before him was wiped out in the span of just a couple of years from this dreaded disease. And at the age of 40-something, he's the oldest surviving member of his family. What would you do if that were you? Would you cry? Of course. Would you be grief-stricken? Of course. But tied is something else. He got pissed off. And he started asking questions. And he went to doctor after doctor after doctor asking questions. Why did this happen? Surely there's got to be a better way. Why didn't this treatment work? Why didn't that treatment work? And he didn't just go to one doctor. He went to over 100 of them. And thank God he took his video camera with him because he recorded the whole thing. And they cut that together. And that ultimately became the documentary series, The Truth About Cancer. And that's what I watched. But after that first episode, you see, they said, come back tomorrow night for episode 2. And I just sat there for 2 hours. And I'm like, well, that was great. But tomorrow night, I mean, I had a lot of stuff going on, man. But I was into it at that point. So the next day, 9 p.m. Eastern, sit down for episode 2 of the documentary. And they finished that and they said, come back tomorrow for episode 3. And then come back tomorrow for episode 4. Guys, there was 9 episodes in a row. And me, a cynical, busy marketing dude, sat down and I watched that thing for 9 straight nights in a row. And so, like a good funnel hacker, I said, well, what just happened? First of all, they gave away the whole thing for free, but it was only 24 hours that I had to watch each episode. And as I watched, I got hooked. I went from being a total stranger to this guy to spending 9 days in a row with him. And at the end, of course, he wanted to sell something, but all he said was, guys, I want you to join the movement. I want you to support this mission. Help us to save lives. And so they sold a DVD kit of all 9 DVDs for about $97. There was a silver package and $197 for a gold package. And I said, that's cool. I bought it. I don't buy a lot of programs anymore because I'm this cynical marketing dude, right? Except for Russell. Russell has a great way of making me buy all this stuff. But I said, okay, well, how well did that work? I asked around a little bit. The fall of 2015 was the first time they launched a global quest. And in 10 days, they made $8.8 million in 10 days. And then in the spring of 2016, that's the one that I watched, they did $9.8 million in 10 days. Anybody ever had a $1 million day? Anybody ever had $10 million days in a row? That's the power of this sequence. And so what I wanted to do is kind of break that down for you a little bit, and I'm going to have to speed up just a little bit. I went to them and I said, guys, I don't know if you need help with your marketing, but this is what I do. I help companies clarify their message. I'd love to help, whatever I can do. And they said, yeah, we did these launches, but do you think you could keep this thing going for us? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. And I called Russell right away and I said, I need to join the inner circle because I feel like I'm strapped to the nose cone of a rocket right now, and I sure hope I steer this thing in the right direction. So this was my skills test, January 2017. We relaunched The Truth About Cancer just to cold traffic, right? It's not going to be the big blowout launch. This is kind of more of a monthly evergreen kind of thing. We dropped $250,000 on Facebook ads. Has anybody ever spent $250,000 on Facebook ads in a month? A couple people. I said, I sure hope this works. What did we get for that money? I brought in about 340,000 unique visitors. We converted them about 32%, so that's just over 100,000 leads that we brought in to watch it. Through the 9 episodes, I averaged about 20% consumption. And when it was all said and done, we sold about 4,600 units. Okay, so did we make money? Sure, we made some money. Invested $250,000 to make $500,000. I'll do that deal any day. Okay, but what I learned from working with these guys was the money is nice, but that's not the important goal, right? We care about the 107,000 leads. Because our goal, sure, we got to make money, we got to keep this machine going, but we want to wake people up, right? They're suffering, they need answers, they're crying out for answers, and we believe we've found some of those answers, and how do I get that to them? How do I get them to quiet the noise and everything else that's going on in their world? And by the way, if you've got a diagnosis of cancer, you're in the spin cycle, right? You don't know what's going on, which end is up, so how do I reach that person? And I thought, okay, maybe I got lucky, maybe that was a fluke, maybe we caught lightning in a bottle. But guys, we proved this model over and over again. So last year, 2017, We did 5 relaunches, mostly to cold traffic. You can see the numbers here. 900,000 leads we brought in, added to our email list. Right now, we're at 1.9 million people on that email list. Cost per lead, $2.50 on average. Earnings per lead, earnings per registrant, that's a better word, was $4.94. And we took that same model and we said, well, what else can we do? Anybody have kids, like little kids? Yeah, me too, I have 2 boys. And I'm not here to say vaccines are good or vaccines are bad. What I am here to say is there's a lot of fear and a lot of concern and a lot of emotional arguments on both sides of the vaccine thing. We wanted to bring some clarity to that. And so we put together this series, the same thing. We went out, we interviewed 60 of the world's best vaccine experts on both sides of the issue. What do they have to say? We did a big launch. We relaunched it one time after that to cold traffic and to affiliates. We brought in about 650,000 leads, and on average, we made even more per lead, per registrant, just under $6. And that's cool. But one of the things I'm so proud of from that project was this. This vaccine argument, which has a lot to do with politics and big corporate money, is a very tough market to penetrate. And through this series, we were able to have private meetings in the halls of Congress to get in there and say, we need better science to be done. So here's how that works, the psychology behind it, I promised you. You know, if I said, hey guys, we've got this great series called The Truth About Cancer, who wants it? You all said you want it, and I said, cool, I'm going to take the 9 videos and I'm going to stick it up on a membership site and I'll give you the password and you guys go in and watch it, cool? You'd say, thanks, and I'm going to get to that. I got a couple things I got to do first. How many books have you bought that just sit on the shelf? Because you say, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to read that. I need that information. And a year goes by, 2 years go by. If I'd said, here's all 9 episodes, throw them on the membership site, maybe a few people would watch it if you're really in the spin cycle. But I needed to break through that. So with this model, the documentary series, the urgency and the scarcity are built into it. But there's another element that I call time compression. And it's this: if you put a whole bunch of people in a room, kind of like this, for a finite amount of time, and you take them through intense emotional experiences, extreme highs and extreme lows, you feel emotionally bonded to those people. And you have transformational moments, and you say, I'm going to stop doing this, or I'm going to start doing that, things that you will commit to that you won't do in the course of just regular everyday life. You say, that's a good idea, but it doesn't quite just break through your filter of noise and everything else you've got going on. There's a temporary escape from reality that's built into it. Because you say, yeah, I've got a lot going on, but I need this right now, and as soon as this is done, it's just for a couple days, then I'll get back to regular life. Cool, so I'm willing to put everything else aside for a little bit. It's kind of like summer camp, right? You guys remember summer camp, right? You get excited for it, summer happens, and they send you away for a week, and you're in this smelly cabin on these old bunk beds. You're in a cabin full of people you don't know. And a week goes by, and you guys have all these adventures together, and then what happens on the last day of camp, it's time to go home. And people are crying. Oh, I don't want to leave summer camp. Why? I don't want to leave my friends. But a week ago, you didn't even know those people. They were brand new. And I think this is the closest thing that we've been able to replicate in the digital space on the internet of that summer camp or that live event type experience. So here's the documentary series funnel. There's a lot of steps to it, but it's really fairly simple. There's 3 phases. Number 1 is the pre-launch phase, where we really focus on building a buzz. Excitement is the key here. We want to get people hyped up. And if there's one little clue I'll talk about here in a second, I'll show you some of our pages. It's on the confirmation page, right? Because there's a little thing there that says refer a friend. I don't know if Wilco's here from UpViral, but as soon as you get people to opt in, one of the best questions you can ask them is, who do you know that needs this information? Because everybody's got a mom, a sister, a brother. And if you've got a message that you believe everybody needs to know, ask people for help. Bring them in on this thing with you. The second phase is the episodes themselves, right? So this is kind of like having a webinar every single day for 7 days or 9 days in our case. The key here is consumption, getting people to come back and consume it day after day. And then there's a push for sales at the very end of it. So while you're making your series, it's just like the modules in your membership site. Each episode, each day should have an anchor topic or an anchor theme. And I like to start with this whole us versus them thing. David and Goliath, right? Ty was just this one little guy who was horribly grief-stricken, who lost the entire generation before him of his family, and he wanted to do something about it. And who's he up against? He's up against Big Pharma, right? Pfizer and Merck and all these huge companies with unlimited money and governmental power and all these things, and he's just one little guy, and what could he do about it? That's a really powerful story, us versus them. You can see the title of the first episode was The True History of Chemotherapy and the Pharmaceutical Monopoly, right? We're taking a side here on this argument. We didn't take so much of a side on the vaccine thing, but we took a hard stance on this one. And so what happened, we put Facebook comments below each video because we want to get that buzz. We want to get people talking about it. And the net effect is, as people go through the 9 days, this also becomes your indoctrination sequence. You're slowly indoctrinating them day after day after day. That's what happened to me. I was a total stranger, and by the end of that thing, not only did I buy it, not only was I an advocate, I said, I need to come work for you guys. Like, whatever I can give, let me come and give and be a part of this thing. I want to see this mission through to success. So I got to go through a couple slides quickly. These are just some screenshots. This was our video opt-in page. It has nothing really to do with graphic design. You know, a powerful headline at the top, and then really that trailer, that compelling thematic trailer that you guys saw just a glimpse of was the key there. Taking people on the journey of a lifetime. And you're going to find hidden information. If you'll join us on this thing, it's not going to cost you anything. Join us on this thing, and you're going to find hidden information here that you won't find anywhere else. And the last thing I'll say is put some social proof at the bottom. It says 1.7, but actually we're at 2.7 million shares of this page right now. And a funny story, the little social widget at the bottom, right, that we were using didn't go past 1 million, right? So when we first broke 1 million hits, or 1 million shares rather, the counter broke, and we had to contact the developers and get them to add another digit. That was fun. All right, the thank you page, I talked about that in just a second, but some key points here is don't just assume after they've opted in to watch your thing that they're going to show up and watch it. I mean, even if it's something that they need so bad as, here's how to handle cancer. Continue selling them on why they need to watch it. And then ask for the commitment. Guys, I need you to mark your calendars for the next 9 days, and if you'll do that, this will permanently, forever change your life. We're incentivizing people to share it. That social component, the up viral thing, if you guys have ever used that, we said if you, who do you know who needs this information? If you'll share that with 5 people, we'll give you a t-shirt. If you share it with 10 people who sign up, we'll give you a free copy of the series. If you share it with 100 people, the prices go up and up from there. So we're actually incentivizing people. I don't recommend giving them cash, by the way. We learned that the hard way. But we're incentivizing people to share this. All right, big countdown. Right before the series starts, generating buzz, generating excitement, anticipation. And then right at the end, there's this soft sales pitch. Bert's cart close, we like to time it so that cart closes Friday night at midnight. That's our biggest day for sales. And then the first time we did this, we crashed the website. We were using a different platform, and it just couldn't handle the amount of traffic. And so midnight came, and Saturday morning we said, gosh, we've got a whole lot of support tickets and a whole lot of angry people who tried to get in there to buy this thing and couldn't do it. So we said, we're really sorry. We feel bad. What we'd like to do is just open the series back up, and we feel so bad. I tell you what, how about we just open up all 9 episodes so you guys can binge watch through the weekend? Would that be good? And that seemed to go over okay. Now, you got to nuance this, of course, because you don't let the secret get out. That's why I call this the hidden cart close. But we said, grab some hot tea, grab some organic popcorn, and binge watch this thing. And then we did a second cart close that Sunday night at midnight to give people that second chance opportunity. And we closed about another 30% more just doing that one little thing. And so now we've actually built that into the process. So here's a real life scenario. The brand new series called The Truth About Pet Cancer. Turns out dogs and cats get cancer too at an even higher rate than humans do. And phase 1 is the pre-launch. That actually starts today. So if you guys want to watch the truth about pet cancer, if you love your pet, funny thing actually, did you know people spend on average more money on their dog than they do themselves as far as the healthcare goes? True. And dog owners spend about 10x the amount that cat owners spend. I don't know why, just a weird stat. But that's the phase. You guys can see this. So I hope you can see that's why I call this the future of how to build your mass movement. I really believe it is the future because it's going to get more and more crowded, more and more noisy. And as my time runs out here, I just want to say that this is mission-based, right? It's a different way that we measure success. Obviously, the funnel has to be profitable, but we have a bigger goal beyond just making money. Our primary metric, guys, is how many people we woke up this morning. So you could call this a documentary funnel, but really, it's a wake-up funnel. We're waking up to people to whatever that message is. And each of you guys has a message, and you need to wake people up to that. We have to get them to cut through and put everything else aside to hear what you have to say. If you'll do this, there's a ripple effect, there's a halo effect, and your legacy and your impact will increase beyond the scope of what you ever thought it could be. And I've seen it happen now with my own eyes over and over again. So real quick, you might be saying, it sounds really cool, Nick, and I love what you guys did, but I'm not a filmmaker. And my response real quick, guys, is neither were we. We had no idea what we were doing, but we knew we had to do it. And if you have a why that's big enough, isn't it worth figuring it out? Isn't it worth that? You know who else is not a filmmaker, incidentally? Russell Brunson. But Russell saw what was happening with Operation Underground Railroad, and he said, I got to do something about it. Who can I call? Who can I partner with to make this thing happen? Turns out, guys, there's a lot of film students out there who will work for cheap. There's a lot of filmmakers who have no money, and if they get behind your cause, I mean, some of them will even do it for free. So I just want to open your mindset up to say, what are the possibilities? This is not charity. This is conscious capitalism. It's using every ounce of our marketing know-how to influence people for good. All the consumer psychology, all the hot buttons, the emotional triggers to build a self-sustaining machine that keeps going on its own day after day, week after week, month after month, so that we don't have to keep feeding it cash just to keep this thing going. So let me close with this. I don't have to tell you, we live in a really dark world, and there's a lot of problems out there. And there's a lot of folks that need our help. And right now, there's about 3,000 of us in this room right now. Okay, and I'm just one guy, and the Truth About Cancer team was a relatively small group of folks who work at home in their PJs. But through the work that we did so far, we've been able to reach 10 million people with that series, launching it that way. So let me just ask you, what would that look like for you? What would 10 million eyeballs on your thing look like? How would that change your life? But more importantly, how would that change your customers' lives? So this is your wake-up call, guys. I love this quote from De Niro. Time goes on, so whatever you're going to do it now. Don't wait 30 years. Do it now. Thank you, guys. My name's Nick.